Okay, question number 17 for the Math 1105 Final Exam Review asks us to sketch the graph of the function y equals log base 3 of x. Now, what I always tell my students, just sort of as a reminder, step one, you okay, Trevor? Goodness. You shouldn't stay out drinking so late, buddy. Hey, you okay? All right. Gotta watch these dogs. Okay, step one when you're graphing. I always teach my students to pick the option Zoom 6 on their graphing calculator because that puts you in a standard window. Step number 2 when you're graphing, of course, on the graphing line of keys, you're going to pick the option y equals, and then you're going to type in the function. Now, here's where we have to get clever. Log base 3 of x. There is no key on our calculator for log base 3. The only two log buttons we have on our calculator are log, which is log base 10, and ln, which is log base e. So to graph log base 3 of x, we are going to apply the change of base formula, and we are going to write it as the natural log of x divided by the natural log of 3. Or, equivalently, the change of base formula also lets us use the common log function. So what we're doing is we are applying the change of base formula in order to be able to enter y equals log base 3 of x into our calculator. So once you've done that, what you should see when you hit graph is you should see a log curve. I'm going to be pretty liberal in how I draw it. This actually, the 0, should be the number x equals 1. One of the things I'm going to also do here is I'm going to draw in, remember when I taught graphing log functions, I taught you to draw in the asymptote, and the equation of this asymptote is the line x equals 0. Okay? Even though I didn't ask it in this problem, it's good to know that the domain would be the set of all numbers, all reals, greater than 0, not including because of the asymptote, and the range, of course, from bottom to top would be all reals. Now, once we have that graph, okay, this is, of course, my x-axis and this is my y, that graph is in quadrants 1 and 4. Once we have that graph, we can use some of our knowledge from the past. Question says, how would you graph the function y equals log base 3 of the quantity x minus 1 using the graph above? Well, basically remember what's happening here with the x minus 1 in parens being put into the log function. What we would do to get this graph is we would take the graph that we just drew, and since you see that the minus 1 affects the x, we would know that the above graph is being moved 1 unit to the right. Remember, the x, anytime a number involves the x, it does just the opposite of what you think is going to happen. So the x minus 1 tells me 1 to the right. Again, another thing, a little hint I give my students is what would make this 0, and here a positive 1, that's 1 to the right. So what I would do is I would take my graph from above. Now remember, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. My graph up here used to have the vertical asymptote of x equals 0. if I shift my entire curve to the right, that also changes my asymptote. My new asymptote has the equation x equals 1 rather than x equals 0, and my entire graph shifts over 1 unit to the right, and that would be my new graph. If I asked you for it, the new domain would be from 1 to infinity, of course not including 1 because we have an asymptote there, and the range would remain the same, negative infinity to positive infinity. And we're done.